right, so the question is, am I being devoted in this relationship, or am I just being a martyr? And I think this is a very important distinction to make. I think a lot of people mistake self-abandonment for devotion. Like, they stay in situations so long, but it's like in the process of staying, you're betraying yourself, you're out of integrity, you're becoming resentful, frustration is building, you're not necessarily getting your needs met, but you're like, no, but I'm super devoted to this person, or I'm super devoted to love. Like, here's the truth. Devotion doesn't hurt you guys. Devotion is like an act of reverence, and in this system, especially of Buddhism, like, devotion is really linked with bodhicitta, which would be defined as the desire to awaken, to wake up, become enlightened, for the sake of all beings. Like, you're trying to get out of suffering and free your mind of suffering to like help other beings get free from suffering. So the devotion is really about that. It's about like love and wisdom and compassion, versus martyrdom, which is a fear ultimately of abandonment. It's like coming from fear, it's coming from insecurity. You know what I mean? So if we are sacrificing ourselves to the point that it's creating, like I said, anger, bitterness, frustration, like I'm just gonna give you some examples, like overgiving so that you feel needed, or silencing yourself and like shrinking and people pleasing to avoid conflict, or trying to prove your goodness like through self-sacrifice. This drains you. Like I said, this breeds negative energy. Most of the people that I talk to that struggle with this are feeling very resentful and exhausted and burned out, and they're like, well, I don't want to give up. And it's like, well, you don't necessarily need to give up on the relationship, and you don't necessarily need to give up on love. I definitely don't recommend giving up on love. The partnership, it depends on your capacity, on your willingness to do the inner type of work, especially this type of practice, like Buddhist practice, which requires radical responsibility. And like I said, you can develop more of like an altruistic nature, like to do things truly for the benefit of other people. But if you aren't taking care of your own needs first, then that's going to be like virtually, it's going to feel very difficult. I won't say impossible, but like if you struggle with codependency, or you struggle with like clinging to things for way too long, like way past an expiration date, and then you get to the point where, like I said, you've totally abandoned your own needs for the connection, that's not love, okay? It's not. Sorry to break it to you. This is a truth bomb that a lot of people have a hard time swallowing, because they see themselves as good people, and you are a good person, and I'm sure your intentions are good too. But people pleasing is like a very covert form of manipulation to get something back. It has strings attached. It has an agenda. And unconditional love is totally free of an agenda. That's why it's unconditional. But we haven't been trained or conditioned to love people in this way. So we have to actually rehabituate our mind. We have to train our mind to have the impulse to give without wanting something very specific in return. Now, the laws of karma are the laws of karma. If you create a cause, you're going to get a result, and like produces like. So the more that you are truly loving and compassionate and doing things with the correct spiritual view, which is to understand karma and emptiness in this system, then you're going to start getting better results. But like without a cause, you're not getting that result. So if you want to turn your clinging and your attachment, which is creating suffering, because attachment creates suffering, it's one of the 3 poisons in Buddhism. If you want to change that self-sacrifice into devotion, then you need to change your mind's impulses. And how do we do that? We meditate, and Buddhist meditation is very practical. It's extremely logical. Everything has a method, you know what I mean? So obviously that's what I teach, that's what I'll help you guys with. But in the meantime, understanding that, again, devotion is like an act of reverence, an act of service. It's not about what you're getting. But again, the flip side of that is that you will get a better result when you're doing things with the correct motivation and a pure intention. So a high sign that you're in martyrdom and not devotion is your own energy. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel shitty? Do you feel burned out? Do you feel like your needs are never met? Do you feel like you're always putting yourself back there and putting your partner before you? If you're doing it with the right motivation, you could get a beautiful result there. But I guarantee that most of you probably aren't, because you're not feeling good about it. So, like I said, we can shift. You can create the most amazing relationship in your partnership where you truly see your partner as an enlightened being. It's a high practice. It's like a tantric practice. We won't get into it. Those things are secret. I don't have those vows yet, but there is a path of tantra where your partner ultimately is your highest teacher. And you start to transform them in your mind into literally like an angel, an enlightened being. So just know that that's a possibility. But right now, it's probably more likely that you've got to start paying attention to your own energy and where you feel shitty feelings, because those are the causes that are getting mixed in with your giving, and therefore you're going to get these weird mixed results where maybe you start getting stuff in return from your partner, but it like feels gross, or it feels like, you know, it's coming with a motivation that's not clear. It is coming with strings attached, or your needs are being met but not quite the way that you'd like them to, where you feel, you know, calm and relaxed and joyful about it. So all of this is transformable, you guys. The good news is, in this system of Buddhism, it's coming from you, a projection of your mind and your karma. That means it can change for the better. It's a huge empowerment. So I would love to help you do this. If you want help with this, get on the wait list for the Underground, my membership. The doors will be opening again 1st of October. I also have a free 2-week meditation coming, a purification practice mid-September. So the wait list is going to open for that probably next week. It's almost done. And I can always work with you one-to-one in a 45-minute sacred intimacy clarity session. That's where we really get into like the nitty-gritty of what's going on in your connection. And then I will help you get right to the root of the most prevalent pattern right now. And I'll give you a very specific meditation, you know, unique to your challenges, a Buddhist practice to help you so that you can use that when you leave. And that's how you start the momentum of the transformation. Then you have to stick with it. So that's where I can help you in the membership, all right, for the Underground. Otherwise, I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I love you, and I will see you in the next one.